Cameron's not with us today, unfortunately, so we got DJ here with us, but we want to wish a happy birthday to Cameron. It's his 18th birthday.
Happy birthday, bud. We love you, man.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Turn up.
All right, let's get into the first thing we got for you guys this week. There was a big fight, UFC fight last Saturday.
Oh, yeah, everybody was talking about it.
It was Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm, and Ronda Rousey said this would probably be her toughest opponent she's ever faced.
She wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
And I think Holly Holm really came in and she took care of business.
Yeah, we have highlights from this fight. It was hyped up. It was going to be in Melbourne, Australia, but look at Ronda's not just business as normal. It looks like for her.
Right, and you got to know that Holly Holm is really motivated for this.
People have been telling her, people expected Ronda just to come out and just dominate this fight, honestly.
I did. I know I did.
And as usual, Ronda does not touch gloves before the fight. And, they say sometimes karma gets back at you. And look at this.
That was a terrible miss.
She just made her look silly right there. Holly Holm completely dominated the fight, and here's the blowout. Oh!
Well, she's a straight-up boxer. And, I think Ronda got a little too cocky before this fight. And I think that cost her. I
agree with you on that as well. Holly Holm came out there and just dominated the first round and the second round completely. And what's kind of funny to me is Ronda Rousey on I believe it was the Late Show with I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, or it was one of those.
I think it was Kimmel.
She predicted how she would basically lose the fight. She said she can kick me in the head, but I'm not gonna let that happen. That's exactly what happened.
And it happened.
And she got knocked out. It's crazy to think that. Ronda Rousey was supposed to be the most dominant UFC fighter of all time, and she just comes out and gets knocked out like that.
Well, she's definitely met her match, and I think if they do face again, it's going to be a fight to watch, definitely.
And I think Ronda's going to work on her boxing is what I think she needs to work on.
She needs to.
Definitely. All right, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be back with some college basketball that happened this past Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear the angels singing? Glory to the light of the world. Glory, the light of the world is.
All right, here we go. Welcome back. As we said before, we have some college basketball highlights. And the first game was Kentucky and Duke in the first game of the Champions Classic this past Tuesday. Obviously, Kentucky and Duke, two of the most historic programs in all of college basketball.
Whenever Kentucky and Duke play in basketball, I hate Christian Laettner, and it's the shot, and it's an electric atmosphere.
It is. It was a great game too to watch. Kentucky ended up winning the game 74-63, but it wasn't just. I think Kentucky dominated more of the game enough.
Yeah.
And you'll see in a second with these highlights. It was a very good game though. Marshall Plumlee had a good game for Duke as well.
And what you notice about the Kentucky team is their size. No one can match their size. They're one of the tallest teams in NCAA.
And of course, Coach Cal and Coach K. And here you go, right from the beginning. Tyler Eunice passes it to Labsia right there with the dunk and the finish. And then Marshall Plumlee with the putback. And he's one of the more dominant players on this Duke team. He got the foul right there. And then sure enough right here, Emil Jefferson puts it down. Emil Jefferson's supposed to be one of the better players on this Duke team.
This game was just full of big plays.
And you can see right there, Grayson Allen got blocked. That doesn't happen too often. And look at the transition play.
Kentucky's a really up-tempo team. They love to push and run the floor.
He got the foul right there. But, this game was high action all game long. Marcus Lee right here with
two misses.
Oh, my gosh.
And a block.
And then, gosh. Great defense right there by Duke. We go to the second half. Kentucky would be up 37-31. And
crazy move.
Look at
to
that.
The basket. That's just beautiful.
That was a great move. And, it was just an awesome game. And look at Jamal Murray right here from Kentucky. Takes it down the lane and finishes coast to coast.
Just good power basketball, take it right to him.
And I think that's what's going to be Kentucky's strong suit for this game. And look at this. Look at that.
And actually, Poitras got his tooth stuck on the net, if you saw that there.
He did. He was grabbing his teeth after. But, Kentucky would dominate the game into the second half. and they would end up taking the W. And that was a very good first game from last Tuesday night. Coach K couldn't do much. This Kentucky team looks like they're making another run.
As long as Coach Cal is at Kentucky, you're going to have a hard time stopping them. It's just they are dominant. They are a dominant team, and I think there's no reason they shouldn't make it to the NCAA Finals.
I think this could be another matchup in the Final Four. These two teams, looks like it will be again.
I'd love to see that. That'd be amazing.
All right, and then the next game from this past Tuesday was Michigan State and Kansas. This was also a very good game to watch. It was very back and forth more by these teams, and we have highlights from this one as well. Another two storied franchises. Kansas with Coach Self, and then Michigan State with Tom Izzo.
It's going to be a well-coached, well-played game when these two meet up.
And then right here, Perry Ellis got blocked, but very good offensive rebound and putback right there by him. Perry Ellis is probably one of the better players in the nation for this Kansas team. But there you go right there with Brian Forbes with the three. That was a very nice shot. And then here you go, more Denzel Valentine would give it up right there.
Michigan State's really good at creating the offense and spacing the floor.
And this game would mainly be about Denzel Valentine. He went off in this game. He ended up with 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists with the triple-double. There's another assist right there.
That guy, he's first-round talent. He's going to make it.
I think he definitely has a shot for the National Player of the Year. But there you go right there with Frank Mason III. Very good layup right there. But still, Michigan State would just drive.
That's just tough basketball right there. Take it to the hoop. Don't be afraid.
Michigan State was down for most of this game, but once they got into the second half, look at this.
In his face.
Matt McQuaid, freshman Matt McQuaid with the three right there. He was a big factor. Look at this right here. And again.
Buckets.
Again, he would put it down. He had a very good game coming off the bench. He ended up with 9 points. But still, Kansas not done. Wayne Sheldon right there with the three. Kansas would be up by 1. But sure enough, Valentine would not have it.
He just makes things happen. When he's in the zone, there's nothing you can do.
And then Michigan State trying to put the game away. Who did they go to? Matt McQuaid.
Clutch. Just play.
As a freshman, that kid looks like he could be a really good three-point shooter. Final 79-73. Michigan State takes it to 2-0. Kansas gets their first loss. But a very, very good game overall.
You're going to be seeing these two. I'm going to call this game in the finals is going to be Kansas and Michigan State.
You think these two teams will be playing?
I think so. I think Kentucky has a chance, but I think the experience is with Kansas and Michigan State.
I really like Denzel Valentine. I think he is probably the best player in the nation. Yeah. You got those other guys who are still in the conversation, Perry Ellis, and all the guys from Kentucky and Duke. But I think Denzel Valentine has the most leadership of a team. He finished with a triple-double. That shows you he can pass, he can shoot, and he can rebound. He can play defense. I think he's probably the most complete player in the whole entire country.
Lots of young talent for both teams, too. That's why I think they have a lot of potential.
I do, too. All right. We're going to go to another quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk it with some football.
You got the papers for the sports show? Yeah, I think it's going good.
My ankle. Oh, I'm going to be out for weeks. Oh.
This is ridiculous.
Oh,
He'll be all right.
My ankle. Oh, he'll be out for weeks. It has to be a yellow card. Come on, ref. Yeah, since Dante started working here, our heat bill's been through the roof.
Where is he?
He should be in his office.
Okay, I'll go talk to him.
Hey Dante, this heat bill is unacceptable. It's just 109 degrees, really? 109 degrees. And you're making coffee? I'm going to get some lunch. Do you want some ice cream? I'm going to get you some ice cream.
Well, how'd it go?
He's taking this Inferno thing way too seriously.
What?
Welcome back. As we said, we're going to get into some college football.
Good American game of college football. Let's get going.
All right. First game we had from last week was Georgia and Auburn, the South's deepest rivalry. And, it wasn't an exciting game to watch, but eventually Georgia would get the touchdown victory.
I called the Georgia win because, there's a lot of frustration up in Athens down in Athens. And I think that, Mark Richt really needs his job. And if you lose, to one of your biggest rivals, your job's going to be on the line. And I think that Georgia just came out with emotion and passion, and they came away with this win.
I agree with you on that. I mean, Mark Ric's a very good coach, and this Georgia team's really fallen apart with the Nick Chubb injury. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries that have just killed them over the season. I think this is a good win for them.
It is.
I believe it gets them into bowl contention.
Oh, yeah.
And I think whoever they play in a bowl game, depending on who it is and where it is, I think they could come out and maybe get the victory.
Oh, yeah. No question.
All right. Next game was Florida and South Carolina. South Carolina, it could have been a trap game. We said that last week. It could have been a trap game for Florida, but, Florida came out and took care of business.
South Carolina and Florida, it's a rivalry. They always play each other really well. It's really tough football. And I was worried for Florida for a minute. And, coming off that Vanderbilt game, I didn't know how it was going to look. But they did what good teams do, and they won the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said 2 weeks ago when Vandy was playing Florida, I mean, Florida they looked lethargic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Vandy came out and they decided we're going to try to make sure they don't end up in the SEC East for the SEC championship. But, Florida took care of business. Like Jim McClain said, teams are going to have these games, and they came out and they took care of business against South Carolina. So
That's what good teams do.
Exactly, and they will be playing in the SEC championship game against Alabama, I believe. So
That's going to be a game to watch.
Yes, it will. All right, next game was Alabama and Mississippi State. Speaking of Alabama, Derrick Henry just took over this game again, like he always does.
People were talking about Dak Prescott, and I want to know where he went.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I didn't see anything from Mississippi State. I saw an Alabama team that said, hey, we're in charge here, and we're going to show you that we're in charge. And they took care of business.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, he rushed for over 200. I predicted him to rush over 200. So, I mean, he's right now looking to be better than Leonard Fournette.
I think he is. He's had the better games, and you can't really stop Derrick Henry.
No.
You really can't even slow him down, to be honest with you.
The man's It's just
He's a grown man.
Huge.
He's a grown man.
He really is. Men amongst boys. All right. Next game was Memphis at Houston. This was a very, very good American Conference game. We have highlights from this one because this one came down to the wire. I mean, it was a good game. I mean, in the beginning, though, it was more Memphis than Houston right here. Paxton Lynch would find his man Alan Cross for the touchdown. I mean, look at the tight end run.
And at this point, seeing Memphis, I thought that they were just going to pull away because Paxton Lynch, once you get him going, he's only getting better as the game goes on.
And then he finds his running back Dorcesis, and he would also follow his blockers in for the touchdown. I mean,
good blocking by Memphis. That's just good blocking.
It is. I mean, it looked early like Memphis was just going to blow out Houston. I mean, it really did. But sure enough, Kyle Postma would find his man Kenneth Farrow for the touchdown. No, we find Lionel Bonner, my mistake, for the touchdown, but it was a very nice touchdown.
You see, that's what you got to do. If you want to win games like this, you have to make big plays at big moments.
Kenneth Farrow would run in for the Houston touchdown, but then Dorcesis would get the handoff and just fall and find the hole. Great blocking. But here you go again. Paxton Lynch on the speed option. And then he finds his man Tevin Jones.
Look at this, just straight speed. Can't defend that.
I mean, it was great blocking. Blocking was a real big part of this game because there was a lot of rushing going on. And here you go, the big man, Kenneth Farrow. That dude's a big running back.
That is a truck right there.
I mean, he just straight up stuck his hand out and said, "You will not take me down," and he ran through it. But then Dorcesis would fumble the ball, and this would be a turning point for the game for Houston.
That's a momentum shift right there, and I think with Houston's new stadium is bigger, and the fans really got into it.
And here you go, Farrow again. Oh no, my fault. This would be Javon Webb from Houston. He would run it in, and then here you go, Postma would get the call, and then the game would be tied.
Just like that, new ball game.
A completely new ball game, and then here you go. We get to the end. Jake Elliott lined up for the kick to win it.
College kickers, man.
Oh, and he pulled it just wide right.
College kickers.
I mean, this game was amazing. The American Conference has had some amazing games this year.
And they still have more. Navy, they have Navy's top 20 team. Temple's still a legit team. You got, Memphis, a lot of big bowl games up for grabs in the American Conference.
And I believe Houston and Navy still have to play each other.
Oh, man,
I can't wait to see what Keenan Reynolds and Navy pulls out, but I also can't wait to see what this Houston team pulls out.
I think the winner of that game is going to win the conference.
I believe so as well. All right, next game was Oklahoma State and Iowa State. You know, we said this last week. This could be a trap game for Oklahoma State as well. You know, they said last time Oklahoma State had a 10-game win streak, Iowa State beat them. And sure enough, Oklahoma State had a 10-game win streak coming into this game, but they got the win.
You did call that game, and I wasn't impressed with Oklahoma State at all. And they're a good team, but you just can't go on the road and play like that against a 3-6 team.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa State plays a lot of teams really good. They're just one of those teams that they don't get the wins, but they play very hard. They play well against really good teams.
They know when it's time to show up.
They do, and they showed up last week, but they just couldn't. It wasn't enough. All right, next game was LSU and Arkansas. I don't know what's going on right now with Arkansas. We have highlights from this, but I also don't know what's going on with LSU.
I don't understand. Arkansas lost to Toledo in the opening game of the season, and just as the season's gone, I guess they found themselves.
Yeah, I guess, and this game would be for the Golden Boot, but LSU is showing their support for Paris. They would take out the French flag.
Love that.
That's awesome right there. But here you go, getting into the game. Brandon Allen would drop back, find Dominique Raid, and look at, man, just takes off.
Gone. No chance.
I mean, great read right there by Brandon Allen. And that would be the beginning of the end, in my opinion, for LSU. Because here you go with Alex Collins. The man would have 141 yards rushing against a very good LSU defense.
Collins is an NFL running back. I've seen him play. He is an NFL-style running back.
And then here you go. Brandon Allen would fumble the snap, chuck it on 4th and 5, but then would find Jameel Adams with the pick.
Just why? Why would you throw it up when obviously no one has a chance at that ball?
I mean, this could have been a turning point, though, for LSU. Brendan Harris back, and then he fumbles it. Man. And I think it was downhill from there for for LSU. Because Arkansas had all the momentum in Death Valley, which is unheard of.
You just don't come out and go 14-0 in Death Valley. You don't do that.
And then Alex Collins, again, would just pound it up the middle. 21-0 lead against LSU at LSU is almost unheard of. But then Brandon Harris would somehow find his man, Machi Dupree. I mean, watch this. Deflected, and then somehow lands in his hands.
Big plays, you just got to make them.
They got lucky, I believe, on there for LSU. But here you go, right into the fourth quarter. And then, who do you give it to? Nope, not the running back. It was an end around by Jared Cornelius, and nobody would touch him.
Arkansas loves that trickery. I know one game last year, they throw it to the lineman in the end zone and he makes the catch. They just love those trick plays.
I mean, that was the third touchdown of 50 yards or more in that game by itself. But then Brandon Harris would get picked off, and that would seal the deal for Arkansas and LSU.
LSU's a much better team than this. They really need to get it together. There's no excuse for this.
And sure enough, Arkansas wins the Golden Boot.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, they have, which is very surprising. Arkansas wins 31-14. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Arkansas, but I also don't know what's going on with LSU.
Well, Fournette needs to step back up. I think that Alabama game rattled everybody's confidence a little bit, and I think they need to just relax and find themselves.
You know, like you said, Fournette, he only had 91 yards against Arkansas, who hasn't had the best of luck all this year against really good offensive teams. I mean,
he needs to step it up.
I mean, he did have his touchdown, but it was near the goal line. I mean, you can't stop Fournette near the goal line, but still, you expect more out of him.
I think they're going to rebound. I really do.
I hope they do, because LSU team is a very good team, so I hope they do. All right, next game was Iowa and Minnesota. You know, this game, Minnesota's been playing these so close games for like 4 weeks now.
And I mean, I called Minnesota to come in and take the upset because I didn't know how good Iowa was. But after watching Iowa, they really ground and pound the ball, and they really make you stop them.
You know, this Iowa team is very surprising. I mean, last year they were getting blown out by Tennessee in a bowl game, and sure enough, they're the number 5 team in the country this year. That's a huge turnaround.
Things change. You know, there's a lot of talk about the Ohio State and Iowa matchup, and you know, Ohio State's gonna have a run for their money.
Yeah, well, Ohio State's got to win their next 2 games first. Before that, I believe Iowa will win out.
Yeah.
And they'll be in the Big Ten championship game. It's just against who? We don't know yet.
Definitely.
So we'll see what happens with that. But then the next game was the game of the week, Oklahoma and Baylor. I called this one. I actually got this one right. We have highlights. But Oklahoma came out and they said, you know what, we want this game. We want a chance to be in the playoff. We want to represent the Big 12.
They pulled a Baylor as far as offense go on Baylor.
And here you go. Early in the game, in the first quarter, Baylor would be lined up near their own goal line. And then Devin Chafin would rush in for the touchdown. You didn't see Shock Linwood much of this game, which is very surprising. But then Samaje Perine, great running back. He's a great running back.
Just bulls over everybody.
He has the NCAA record for most yards in a game against Kansas. But, I mean, Baker Mayfield took the hit, didn't move, and then find Sterling Shepard with a long touchdown. They didn't know if it was a touchdown at first.
That's a great combination. Baker Mayfield and Sterling Shepard, both NFL-level talent.
Mm-hmm. And then here you go again, Baylor near the goal line, and sure enough, Devin Chafin, untouched.
Just, Big 12 defense. I mean, who are you really going to stop?
Not many teams, really. But then, again, Samaje, with the handoff, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, I believe, is a Heisman candidate quarterback.
He's a little underrated, but he really moves well, and he can make things happen.
And, I mean, Baylor, the story for Baylor was getting in the red zone for them. And who do you call to? Devin Chafin.
What's that, 3 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns on the day. He only had 49 yards, so he looked like to be their power running back for this game. But then Baker Mayfield again drops back and finds Sterling Shepard again for his second touchdown catch of the game.
Great combination. That's just a great combination.
I think these two, if they're going to be great in the pros, both of them.
No question.
And then Samaje Perine gets it, and he's going. And then look at the stiff arm, got the separation, and that was it.
He does what he's been doing all year long and just making plays happen.
But here you go right here with Jared Stidman drops back and finds Laquan McGowan.
That's what I like. Big people need to score too. I like that.
He was an offensive lineman last year. Now he's listed as a tight end, so obviously they want to get it to him.
Love it.
Then Stidman again drops back and then finds Jay Lee in the end zone. Baylor thought they had something going right there. They would only be down 3.
Yeah, they really tried to make a surge late.
But sure enough, Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield back, and then I think this reminds you of Johnny Manziel a little bit.
A little bit of Johnny football there.
And then he does get the touchdown to Dimitri Flowers, and that would do it.
Ends the game right there. Oklahoma just came out and they said, Baylor, we're better than you, and we're going to show you why we're better than you.
And I think this exposed this Baylor team. They've been ranked up in the top for all season.
Well, they did lose their starting quarterback,
they did.
But the offense is still there. I think Oklahoma just was a better team that night.
And I think Oklahoma, they can make a run.
They can.
They can make a run for this the number 4 spot, I believe. So it's gonna be a very interesting race for the college football playoff. So let's get into some NFL real quick. The Titans played the Panthers last week, and not as much as a surprising result. Cam Newton had a huge game against the Titans defense.
The Titans defense though played well. They sacked him 4 or 5 times. They just don't have enough offense, and the receivers weren't getting open. Cam Newton, you can't stop Cam Newton. You can only slow him down.
And I think, there was a little altercation in there. The defense was getting frustrated with Cam. Was running all over them. There was a whole altercation in the end zone with Cam dancing. He made a good point, though. If you don't want me to do it,
don't
stop
let
me.
Yeah,
try and stop me, then I won't do it.
Exactly, spot on.
Panthers improved to 9-0. I think they're really a good favorite for the NFC spot in the Super Bowl right now.
Definitely.
All right. Next game was Monday night. The Bengals finally lost, but to the Texans of all teams.
I didn't see that one coming. I don't think America saw that one coming.
No.
It was a really defensive game, and I think that really fell into the Texans' plan.
Andy Dalton finally got exposed.
He got exposed. The whole team got exposed.
And this is the Andy Dalton most people are used to seeing in the playoffs. He just can't get the job done.
Can't come through when it matters. Got to learn to do that.
I think, though, the big part was the Texans defense finally showing up.
Oh, yeah, they showed up big time. The defense has always been there.
And, they got the job done. So, congrats to the Texans giving the Bengals the first loss of their season. So, that gives 2 teams left undefeated, the Patriots and the Panthers. All right. And then this Thursday, tonight is the Titans and the Jaguars. The Color Rush unis will be out tonight.
Color Rush. The Jaguars, much like the Titans, they have the talent, but they don't have the results. Just because I'm a homer, I'm going to pick the Titans.
You know, this is I don't know who to pick. I mean, this is gonna be honestly. I think it's gonna be a really good game. It's gonna be a back and forth game, in my opinion. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Titans.
There
I
you
think
go, Colin.
I think they could come out and beat this Jacksonville team. This Jacksonville team has had their moments, but they don't always have their moments. So
Good pick, Colin.
I'm gonna take Mariota. I think their offense will get through tonight. All right, we're gonna go to a quick break and then we'll get into this week's picks. All right, we're back, and let's get right into this week's picks.
Yes, sir.
First game. Oh, and the college football rankings came out this past Tuesday. You know, not much has changed except for the 6th spot. Oklahoma State moves into number 6, but everything else, top 5 stayed.
You know, there's so much, just parity between 1 and 6. You really, you're not wrong either way. Whoever you put in there, it's accurate.
I mean,
good teams.
All teams' resumes who are in right now have good resumes. The only one I think doesn't have the best resume, and it's just because of their strength of schedule, is Ohio State.
Yeah, and I think they struggled here and there, but at the end they got the win, and that's really what matters at the end.
I think to prove Ohio State if they belong will be this week and next week.
Those are 2 critical games against the Michigan teams. Definitely.
So we'll see what shakes up in the college football rankings these next 2 weeks before we get into the championship. The conference championships.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
let's get into our first game. Middle Tennessee will be playing at home against North Texas. DJ, I think I don't need to ask who you like, but
Well, obviously the Blue Raiders
Oh,
were
yeah.
24-point favorite. Brent Stockstill's thrown for 3,000 yards. Just North Texas, MTSU should win this game.
I completely agree with you. I think Brent Stockstill will have a big game, and I think he'll throw for at least 240, 250. I mean, this North Texas team isn't the best, as usual, but, it hasn't always been the best for Middle as well, so
True.
I like Middle. All right, next game is North Carolina and Virginia Tech. Even though this one's in Virginia Tech, I'm taking North Carolina because they have just been blowing out teams recently. So I think Marquise Lee has a really good game.
In the ACC, you never really know what can happen, and for that reason alone, I'm taking Virginia Tech.
Okay.
In Blacksburg, you just Virginia Tech.
All right, next game is Michigan and Penn State. This is a very good rivalry game as well. I like what John Harbaugh has done at Michigan, so I'm going to take Michigan, even though this is a good Penn State team.
It's going to be tough in Happy Valley, but I also got Michigan too.
All right, next game is LSU and Ole Miss. This is going to be a bounce back game for really both teams. So, I'm going to take the Tigers.
I'm going to take the Rebels. I think that LSU is really falling, and I think Ole Miss is going to come out fired up.
All right, next game is Tennessee at Missouri. Missouri's got a really good. They got a good thing going right now. They're fired up. I'm gonna take Missouri because Tennessee's never beaten them in the 3 years they played them.
They're a better team than Missouri, and I think if Tennessee plays to their full potential, they won't have an issue. So I got Tennessee.
All right, and then the next game is Baylor and Oklahoma State. This will be a bounce back game for Baylor, but a must win for Oklahoma State. I think I'm gonna take Oklahoma State, but I think it's gonna be a very close game.
Look for 60-59 as a final score.
Exactly.
I think Baylor is going to come back and give Oklahoma State a run for their money, but Oklahoma State wins it.
Okay. Next game is TCU and Oklahoma. TCU it hasn't had the best season. They've had good games with Trevon Boykin, but just it hasn't all worked out for them. So I'm gonna take Oklahoma and Baker Mayfield.
Well, TCU's going to try to ruin their season, but you're right. Baker Mayfield in Oklahoma. At Oklahoma, I got Oklahoma.
All right. And then the next game is the game of the week. Michigan State goes to Columbus. I like what both teams are doing right now. Even though Michigan State came off a game they should have won against Nebraska, I'm going to stay with Ohio State and JT Barrett. I think they get the win this week, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
I think this is the week Ohio State goes down.
All
I got
right.
Michigan State.
All right, the upset. But then we can't forget about what's tomorrow. The
Oh,
Blaze.
yes.
We travel to Maryville. It's been 2 years since we played them last year in the semis. I think we got it this time.
You know, you got that second chance. You can't pass the second chance up. There's been a lot of trash talk on Twitter, you know.
Yes, there is.
But you can't let the emotions get the best of you because that will lose you the game. And I think that if we come out and control the game, why not us?
Exactly.
Why not us?
That's been the motto from the beginning. Nobody predicted us to get this far, so why not us?
Why not us, baby?
All right, that just about does it for us. Be sure you guys follow us on Twitter. Follow the BSPN, the Sports Report at BSPN32SR. Follow the student section at student sec BHS. Follow me at I'm calling you, and then follow DJ.
Follow me at Blue Raider DJ.
All right, that just about does it for us this week. We might be back next week. We're not sure yet, so we'll get that figured out. But until we see you guys next time, DJ Bowers, Colin Simpson, we'll see you next time.
Have a good day.